Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
番組は多言語放送です。放送予定は suprememastertv.com/schedule。
We create everything that we want if we live but in accordance with the law of the universe. Such is the power of just being vegan, because that means we spare life, we want life, we want constructive energy, we don't want destruction. So vegan is the answer.
African American veganism, going back to their roots. Continue watching to find out more.
Greetings, wonderful viewers. I'm Amedou. If you see people in Mauritania saying marhaban with a big smile, it means hello in Arabic. So if you go to Mauritania, don't forget to say marhaban. Welcome to our show, African American Veganism, going back to the roots. Today, we will take a brief look at the growing trend of veganism amongst the African American culture and how this is a positive move back to the traditional way of eating. Historically, the diet of the ancestors of African Americans was largely plant-based. This way of life was truly at one with nature, as Africans lived in regions that were abundant with food that could be collected for their needs. Known as Gardens of Eden, these regions enabled those living there to avoid the development of traditional agriculture because they simply had no need of it. They would spend as much time in a region as needed until the resources were depleted and then move on to the next Garden of Eden, leaving the area they had vacated to replenish within a few years. This is how for the longest time Africans avoided farming, because it was actually much more work to cultivate food than it was to simply gather it from nature. Tatsoka Chawari, an international development consultant and social and tech entrepreneur, explains this concept very well in her article entitled "African Vegans Are a Return to Tradition," where she shared her insightful opinion on how the diet of African Americans has changed since its origins in Africa.
Before farming started, Africans were known to be hunters and gatherers, the foundation of the paleo diet. They would gather leaves, roots, tubers, corns, rhizomes, bulbs, seeds, buds, shoots, stems, pods, or edible flowers. Nowadays, most African societies are carnatic, centered on meat, and meat features daily in the diets of most middle-class African families. But this culture is colonial. Until about 5 centuries ago, Africa remained mainly dependent on traditional food.
One of the more famous and influential vegan candidates is the Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis. Carl shared how he came across the vegan diet.
I was starving myself to keep my weight down. So after I started doing some research on what was the best diet where I could eat, because I love to eat, but be healthy and also be athletic. And it came out to cutting out a lot of the meat and getting out of the dairy products and all of that. So that's what got me there. And I ended up becoming all the way to a vegan.
Carl also describes how much better he feels on a vegan diet.
I feel better when I have some fresh juice, or if I have a garden burger, or if I have a salad with tofu sprinkled on the top or something. I feel a lot more energetic because it feels like my system's cleaner, it flows through, and I feel lighter.
Let's take a look at another famous African-American vegan advocate, Louis Hunter. Mr. Hunter was in a very difficult situation, which led him to meeting Sarah and Dan Woodcock, who introduced him to veganism and eventually helped him open the very first black-owned vegan restaurant called Trio in Minneapolis, USA. On the morning of May 31st, Mr. Hunter fed more than 300 vegan meals with love and compassion to the peaceful protesters in the streets, many of whom had supported him during his difficult time. Mr. Hunter's greatest ambition is to see people live healthier, happier lives, and he believes the vegan diet can do that. We are going to take a brisk walk around the block. When we come back, we will have more information about the rise of African American veganism here on Supremaster Television. Welcome back to African American veganism, going back to the roots. Another rising star in the African American vegan movement is vegan chef Nicola Cagoro, known publicly as Chef Cola, a 28-year-old Zimbabwean born in New York. Nicola says the Zimbabwean people's heritage has many diverse and nutritious options of plant-based foods that are fast gaining the superfood status. For example, moringa and baobab powders are now being sold as superfoods in health stores worldwide. The local options of food for vegans are small grains, leafy greens, vegetables, legumes, and nuts. Due to the perception that a vegan diet is an expensive diet in Zimbabwe, with all the processed vegan meats hard to attain or make, Nicola was inspired to start a foundation called African Vegan on a Budget, which trains vegan chefs and encourages more people to try vegan cuisine. Thank you, Nicola, for your generous heart and loving nature to ensure that all our animals are loved and cared for through inspiring people to enjoy a vegan diet. The African American public health nutritionist and author Tracy McCarter, who has been a vegan for 33 years, used her insights and knowledge and created the African American Vegan Starter Guide to share for free with the whole world what a vegan diet can do for all of us. This guide is specifically for the African Americans based on their cultural cuisines. However, it can be enjoyed by anyone, as the recipes and guidelines are a wealth of information for all. African Americans are now becoming the fastest growing demographic to change over to a vegan diet. When one views the latest news on vegnews.com, one can see that there are already 25 black-owned vegan restaurants thriving while reintroducing the heritage of a plant-based diet to the world, reminding people to be vegan for the benefit of their health, the planet, and the animals. According to a 2016 Pew Research Center survey, 3% of the US population identified themselves as vegan, and of that, only 1% were Hispanic, while a whopping 8% were African Americans. The popularity of a vegan lifestyle amongst African Americans has grown tremendously in recent years, thanks to the influences of hip-hop icons like Jay-Z and Beyoncé, who have offered free tickets for all the fans if they change to a vegan lifestyle. Beyoncé also launched a nutritional program in 2015 called 22 Days Nutrition with her personal trainer Marco Borges, which designed high-end nutritious meals with a delivery service. This progress is evident in a Gallup poll conducted in January 2020 that found that 31% of African Americans had reduced their meat consumption in the past year, compared to only 19% of white Americans. Benevolent viewers, if you are already on the incredible vegan journey and you are interested in African American cuisine, more popularly called Afro-fusion cooking, whose principles are eating wholesome rather than processed foods, then you certainly can't miss the Afro-Vegan Society's website. Not only is it an awesome website to assist one in gaining tasty recipes of fantastic Afro-fusion food combinations and delicious recipes, but it also easily brings the vegan lifestyle into your lives, making it accessible to everyone. For more information, please visit afrovegansociety.org. As our beloved Supreme Master Chin Hai once shared in the lecture,
we create everything that we want if we live but in accordance with the law of the universe. Such is the power of just being vegan, because that means we spare life, we want life, we want constructive energy, we don't want destruction. So vegan is the answer. This is something all Africans and all citizens of the world can do. Be vegan, be a world saver.
we are grateful to all the people who have chosen the path of the vegan lifestyle. You have set such a noble example of love and compassion for all beings. Health-conscious viewers, it has been a pleasure to have your company for today's program. May we all become fitter, healthier, and more graceful through following the empowering plant-based diet.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VEG.